Hey, good morning. How y'all doing? It is Well Red Beard. It's a damn fine day to talk about a book, and today we are going to have a short review on this very, very, very short book on this very, very short subject about the shortness of life by Seneca. So, if you follow me, you've kind of watched me start down this rabbit hole of Stoicism and philosophy and whatnot, having done, meditations by Aurelius in the last week or so, and, reading some other nonfiction type self growth slash philosophy stuff. So, look, I enjoyed this. It's 41 pages. I mean, really, this is one of the, I guess, major principles or centerpieces of my personal philosophy as a guy my age, as a guy looking at, like I said, the back half. So for me, like, again, common sense shit. We all know this. We all know that we waste too much time, and so that's something I've tried to do less of, and because I do not consider reading books, regardless of what type of books they are, to be a waste of time. Um, like that's kind of where all of this came from. I mean, 5 or 6 years ago, I decided I wanted to read a lot more. I wanted to do, some fitness stuff. The reading stuff, the fitness has been in and out, but and again, but what I find is that um, I don't know, like this keeps me off my phone. I go to bed with this. I get up with this. Now I've always been, I would say, a glass half full type guy, but I have found that my level of personal peace and happiness is better when I get up in the morning and I grab this as opposed to the phone. And also, like, I don't know, like, I almost think like books will keep you alive on some level. Like, if you know, I don't know, like, I go to bed at night with a book in my hand. I spend at least some of my sleeping hours thinking about that, and I wake up in the morning and, I mean, a lot of times, like, I'll wake up early in the morning, like 4:30, 5 o'clock. I mean, um, and I will, rather than, on a normal day, I mean, no alarm's gone off. On a normal day, I would have rolled over and went back to sleep. And most days I just get up and I'm happy, and it has a lot to do with books. But so again, this one, the whole premise is that life is not short. It's that we just waste so much of it. And so I get a lot of this type of stuff in my feed. I mean, and when I say feed, I'm really talking about YouTube because again, all this kind of started from me going down the rabbit hole with Ryan Holiday. And if you don't know who he is, look him up. I've watched the video of Ryan Holiday, Matthew McConaughey. I mean, guy's a writer. He owns a bookstore. You'll get the gist. It's guys talking about books, and I don't have a lot of that in my normal life, right? Like my father wasn't a reader. My mother is, but my father wasn't a reader, and most of the men that I associate with on a daily basis um, are not. So, anyway, it's a couple guys walking around a bookstore talking about books, and it's really interesting. And anyway, it kind of started me down this path of Stoicism and philosophy. Where was I going with this? I was going somewhere. Anyway, so about not wasting time. So I said my feet because, like, I don't do, and more power to anyone and whatever they want to do. I don't do TikTok. Um, I do not have any social media on my PC. I have YouTube, right? Like, so I do not have Facebook, Instagram. Like, I do not, they're not logged in here, and I do not know the password. So I do have Facebook and Instagram on my phone, but try to use it very, very, a very little bit. I mean, it is important because I am like 4 hours away from my parents, and we're like 8 hours away from my wife's parents. So it's important so that the grandparents get to see what the kids are up to and whatnot. But anyway, I mean, that's what these books do though, because I have gone way off track here. But that's what these books do. I mean, they make you think, right? Because it's easy to say, memento mori. It's easy to say, remember, you must die. I mean, it's easy to say, um, focus on living, I mean, it's easy to say those things, but what does that really mean? And this is, it's really it's broken up into 20, I think, 20 very, very brief sections. Yeah, exactly 20 brief sections. Again, it's 41 pages long. Like there's section one, there's section two, and it's very short, but it's just, it sends you down a thought spiral, so to speak, about these different things. But there is, I mean, a lot of good stuff in here. Now, before I get into this, I'm going to say that, I gave this book 3 stars, and I think part of that was it's a 5 star concept. I mean, it's a 5 star point that that life isn't short. We just waste so much of it, and we should try. I took my glasses off to read this. I cannot really see you. I cannot really see the screen, but I can see the book. Anyway, I mean, it's a 5 star concept, but there's really only so many ways to say that. And at some point, this book I mean, it did not get sluggy. I mean, it's only 42 pages, but at some point, it was, I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe I was looking for some magic that maybe I didn't find, but again, making me think about these things may just be the magic. I've been having a lot of problem with that, recently. I will finish a book and I will be somewhere in the middle of a three or four or two or three. And I've been letting myself go with my initial gut reaction. So sometimes those change. And the way those change is if I'm still thinking about this in a year, then I will probably go back and raise that rating up to a 4. But anyway, just a lot of good stuff in here. Let's see if I can find the magic here. Nor is it merely the common herd and the unthinking crowd that bemoan what is, as men deem it, and a universal ill. The same feeling has called forth complaint also from men who were famous. It was this that made the greatest of physicians exclaim, life is short, art is long. So that's why I really took a lot to get to that point, but I wanted to highlight that life is short, art is long. But it's saying, it's not just your average folk, it's not just your lower class or middle class or whatever. I mean, it's the richest, most powerful, most famous people that also have this exact same problem that we all have, that that life is limited. And really, at the end of the day, without reading all these little things that I marked, I mean, the gist is that you know we we do not realize those things that are stealing our time. Like if you had an amount of money and somebody stole some of it, you would know about it. You would be upset about that. You would probably, call that person out. Yet we let so many people, things, whatever, just absolutely steal our time. And I feel like this is the point in this review where I say that I don't know shit about shit. I like to say that I'm a reader, but I'm just a reader talking about what I read. Like I'm not some philosophy guy. I'm not some genius when it comes to this stuff. But anyway, so that has been said. But yeah, we just let so many things, like, without thinking about it, steal our time. I mean, a lot of this comes down to grudges and holding on to past wrongs and I mean the most it said something in here along the lines of the most um what's it shit, the rarest resource in the world is the present tense because it's gone, right? Like, but you spend if you spend time with your past, it's in reflection. If you spend time in your present, it's this and your future. Anyway, but the present tense is gone, you know. So it's the most, I guess, finite resource there is. So yeah, that was kind of the gist for me is to kind of think about. Um, it's hard. It's hard in your like day to day, minute to minute, right? Because you're so used to, um, I don't know. I mean, taking that phone call that maybe isn't important, responding to that text that maybe isn't important, reading, tons and tons of unimportant emails, and it has made me try to be thoughtful about this down to the, I mean, I don't know if I can say down to the minute, but down to the small segment of time, down to maybe quarter of an hour, 15 minutes. But it has made me think about that. I mean, I have a lot of routines. I have a morning, I have a lunch routine, I have I have these routines, and it has made me think about, I mean, really trying to pull the most out of a day, and I know that sleep is important, and but also, um, maybe at the end of the day, if I'm feeling the book, maybe I push a little further, because maybe I can sleep when I'm dead. I don't know, but and I don't really do that. Like I said, I have a routine. I'm generally in the bed at the same point every night, and I do not often uh, do a lot of deep reading in bed anymore. I used to. I mean, I used to go to bed and read for a couple of hours or so, and now it feels like most nights, by the time I get there, I mean, I read in bed every night, but by the time I get there, it might be 5 to 10 pages, So, anyway, but yeah, just I mean, the title says it all. This is a book about the shortness of life and trying to make the most of it, but also that it isn't necessarily short. It's that we waste a lot of it. So I've kind of talked in circles here. I wasted 12 minutes and 30 seconds if you want to look at it like that. So anyway, it's definitely worth a read for 41 pages for sure. This is On the Shortness of Life, Seneca. I mean, again, it is, what do you call it? It's a canon, I guess, for this philosophy slash stoicism slash um, whatever reading list that I'm kind of slowly gonna make my way through. So appreciate you being here. Appreciate you listening to me ramble. I hope you have a fine Friday, good weekend. It's a little nasty outside here, but that's all right. This is Red Beard. I hope you're enjoying all your books, all of them, as much as I am. If not, you're reading the wrong damn books.